Mike and Dylan hate drama. Wow. That was my throat, bro. Welcome back to another episode of Mike and Dylan Hate Drama, where we talk about, life, and we give advice sometimes when we have advice to give. When someone submits some advice, we give it to them. So me and Dylan were just watching a documentary about Ruby Ridge. And how we do live in a society where if the government fucks up something with your taxes or something like that, say this is how much they owe you and they don't send you that much. It's like, whoopsie, our bad. It's going to be 1 to 10 years before we can fix that. Whereas if you fuck something up, they're like, we will hunt you down. We will hunt you down with violence if necessary. And
kidnap your children.
Yes. Beat that money out of you.
Yeah.
And for people to be like, well, that's such an exaggeration, Mike, you do have to think of Ruby Ridge and what they went through.
Not even just that. There's a multitude of things that we could talk about, because this isn't the first and only time, but this is one example that we can get into just for today.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about, so I love conspiracy theories.
Well, this one's not a conspiracy. This one's
technically it's kind of a conspiracy theory, because people just hear, when Ruby Ridge happened, people think that when they watch a documentary on it that everybody knows that, and it's not everybody doesn't know that.
Well, I think for a conspiracy theory, though, it has to be
hidden information.
Yeah, it has to and yes, the government narrative does not match the actual events, but it's pretty laid out there that the government was lying, and so that's where the conspiracy kind of goes away.
They didn't promote all that years later.
No, it's just like any news organization.
Harris, one of those out of court settlements and stuff like that. I do want to preface, we're not experts. Yeah, we don't like white supremacists also.
Oh, no.
That's what I was prefacing first.
And the thing is, though, is I don't know the deep backstory of who they were. I think a lot of times, and especially these days, there are
pictures painted to make you feel better about the atrocity you're doing to somebody else.
Yes, you can say that simply because somebody doesn't agree with a certain policy, they're a white supremacist, they're a fascist, whatever. And I'm not saying that the people that actually ascribe to white supremacy and fascism are not that. They are, but just because they don't agree with certain policies does not make certain other people.
It is a big media tactic to call people a different name. If the left is socialists protesting something, they're Antifa, or they give them these names so it's not like they're killing humans out there. They're killing Antifa. They're tear gassing them, shooting them with rubber bullets. Maybe a couple of Antifa members died,
and that's what they deserve, because they're
right. Also, this police officer died, but maybe he was also. they spin it all these different ways. When the right's out there, they're like white supremacists, and it just makes you feel better about human beings protesting something, which is our God-given right. It makes you feel better when, cops have to tear gas them and murder 2 or 3, and, Kent State, I don't know how the fuck they worded that to where everybody was just like, this is okay. And
we'll have to look into that one deeper.
I think that'll be the next episode. We'll kind of get into the mushy gushy about that.
So, with this, though, one of the big things is the narrative is always painted one way, and this is what makes it hard to believe the government when they tell you stuff in the moment is hey, maybe we should wait before we pass judgment on whether they took the right action or the wrong action on this, because right now you're like, oh, these people with all these guns, and then you peel back the layers of what happened in this case. Can you just kind of start off with where
we're going to talk about how it started? Okay, so Robert Weaver, or Randy Weaver, Jesus Christ, we're not going to talk about the man himself. I don't even know a lot about his backstory. Dude could have been, fucking tattooing some swastikas on his body and shit like that. That is
still
stuff,
doesn't.
That's yes. Right.
Unless he was.
This does not say, hey, let's go execute his.
Yeah, unless he was causing harm to other people through these actions.
Correct. So Randy sells a shotgun, a sawed-off shotgun, to an undercover agent. Okay? And for anybody that knows anything about shotguns, once you saw that once you saw the barrel off of that thing,
illegal.
Weapon of mass destruction.
Illegal.
Weapon of mass destruction. do not tamper with guns, or the military will come shoot you with the craziest fucking automatic fucking RPG fucking shit you have ever seen in your life. They'll release a couple drones these days. Back then they didn't really have the armored drones.
Man, imagine what would have happened to them if they had. Well, maybe they wouldn't have fucked up. So
you know, Randy is a country boy. He is very much a man of the land.
Yeah.
Imagine a bunch of robots.
I mean, that's one thing they can definitely say is he was anti-government. Is
very much so.
And like, I don't know the rest.
If you are anti-government, they are going to paint a picture. They are going to zoom in on things that you have said to kind of, you know, paint you in the way so it's not as anti-government as so you are a villain. Once again, I don't know everything that he has said. He himself could have been a bad person. That does not warrant a militarized team, however you word it, to come in and just fucking
words.
Yeah, absolutely, just wipe your family off the face of the earth. So he sells the gun to the undercover officer, and he gets a court date. He was given the wrong court date, and I don't know if you know this. If you are given the wrong court date, it makes it very, very hard to then go to the right one.
Yeah, no, I don't know how better to set somebody up than to give them something to show up to on the incorrect day and then penalize them for not being there on the correct day.
So when he misses his court date, obviously there is a warrant out for his arrest. When he misses the court date he was never given, there is a warrant for his arrest. Now, some people know that it was a sawed-off shotgun. Others know that he has weapons of mass destruction. He has modified weapons that he is bunkered with in the cabin. He is bunkered with. They use these words that these agents are pulling up to Ruby Ridge. They are pulling up, hearing all these different kinds of things. They're hearing that, you know, there's weapons of mass destruction. There are altered weapons. Just this guy knows so much about artillery. So if you are not a high-ranking member in, you know, the FDI, the ATF, whatever, if you're not a high-ranking member and you're just a guy who's about to, you know, a deputy, if you're working for the police force, whatever you are, if you're on the ground, you're getting a variation of different stories about who this guy you're about to fucking approach is.
So just so we can clarify, on Wikipedia he is a self-proclaimed white supremacist. So he is a white supremacist.
Ah, nice. Okay.
But still doesn't mean the government gets to kill him.
Right. That does. Correct.
Or kill members of his family.
Correct. He has shitty ideas. All right. We love our black brothers and sisters, our Hispanic brothers and sisters. The audacity to have today's, even then's NFL, and to say that white people are superior is a wild statement, all right? Everybody's good at different things, okay? And we all mesh together what should be really well if people weren't trying to divide us. But so they're going up here, and this is the worst thing too, because the media and word of mouth is the strongest enemy anybody could go up against. And this is a perfect example of, if you are a police officer, if you are just anybody who is encountering another individual and you have all these preconceptions about who this individual is, you're going to be scared. You're going to be on high alert. This goes through everything. And it is a good reason to kind of point out, like, the unjust things through the 80s, 90s, you know, early 2000s of how, you know, black people were demonized in the media. Like, if black people were doing something, if they were protesting, if they were doing anything, we're going to show the worst type, you know, we're going to show the worst ends of that, which is usually always going to happen. If it's a bunch of white people out there, they're going to show the worst sides of it. White people don't really have a lot to complain about, all right? Not really. We have the whole we're oppressed thing by the government. You know, black people do have to deal with the oppression that goes on under the poverty level from other poor people. You know what I'm saying? So they tend to show the bad sides of people out there, you know, using their First Amendment right. So when they try to take that First Amendment right away from you, you feel more comfortable doing it. Okay. That's for both sides. They try to show you all this shit going on with protesting and like all these people out there with signs, and sometimes it gets violent because, you know, they're getting hit with tear gas and shit like that. And then it's like, well, you know, guys, maybe we should just take away this right for people. And that's what kind of gets people on board with having your rights taken away.
Which is the exact the antithesis of what should be happening is like, hey, well, these people are, I think the problem is and you know, this is conspiracy theory, is I think there are I can't remember, basically like people that infiltrate these to then cause riots at these events.
I mean,
So then,
it's been a known thing. They'll lay out a pile of bricks.
Yeah.
They'll do all this stuff because also too, peaceful protests, they are people complaining about something that they feel is unjust. Unpeaceful protesting, also known as rioting, that generates a lot of money. And it's not just through like the insurance companies where, you know, many buildings are getting destroyed and shit like that. But media makes a fuck ton of money because everybody's watching this go down. So all the media channels, everything's getting really good.
Technically on the insurance side, they lose money, but yeah.
No, they make money with insurance.
No, they lose money because they actually have to pay out. They don't make
Is that
money.
how it goes?
Yeah. They lose money. That's why like they no longer want to pay for like homeowners insurance in Florida. Like nobody will cover it because of the hurricanes keep hitting and then the damage keeps rising up. And so like they're not winning in this casino that they've set us up with. Because like basically insurance equals out to like you're betting that you're going to have something bad happen to your house, and then the insurance company is betting you.
What I'm saying, yes, they do have to pay out, but you get to raise like all the premiums there. You get to be like, okay, well, you're in this major city, so now you have to pay more for your insurance.
Yeah, but
if you have to, this is how insurance companies make money.
But it still doesn't work to their favor.
It absolutely works to their favor because if 4 or 5 buildings get windows broken, doors shattered, something that costs hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars, but then every single business, think about how many businesses are in that city. All the insurance companies get to raise your rates. You're now like, oh fuck, so they do make a fuck ton of money off of doing that.
But see, this is the problem though, is they don't just cover like businesses, they also cover residential and cars and all these other things. And so like as a whole, insurance companies have been having to pay out more frequently than they're getting money. Like their profit margins are dwindling. They're still making a fuck ton. But like when people start like getting the price raised too high where they can't afford it, people stop getting insurance.
Well,
and so
real quick, before we get too off topic, we're going to explain how insurance companies work. Okay. If I have 1,000 people and I have 1,000 people pay me $10 a month. Okay. We're just going to use little numbers because I don't want to fucking get lost in goddamn numbers right now. So we got 1,000 people paying $10 for if something happens, we'll cover them. Like we'll help you get whatever you need back. Okay. So I got 1,000 people paying me $10 and this is going well. I'm making $10,000 a month all year. I have $120,000. Okay. Well, now one person, their house burns down. Okay. I know I'm using a lot lower numbers.
Are you trying to explain this to me to
No,
prove
I'm
your
explaining
point,
this to the viewer.
Well, yeah. But like, I think we all know how insurance works.
Right. Okay. So they should cover that. Okay.
Yeah.
But what happens is like you'll be in an area where, once again, it's a big city. Now you got like this is why we're raising premiums. So they do make money. It does give them a reason to raise the premiums, even though that's not going to be a fucking everyday occurrence. This is a reason why the insurance is so high. And because you're in a city that's prone to, you know, rioting and stuff. So they do get to make money off of that. When there's not really been a riot since the Rodney King that's just like actually costed them more money than they're going to make from raising every single, you know, business in that city. And then also too, you know, somebody like Wells Fargo or something like that, their shit's going to get fixed. A mom and pop shop's going to be like, well, you know, your window was broken with a tire iron and we only cover baseball bats.
Yeah.
That's where they get that too. So they're really not paying out for the little guys. It's more like the bigger companies and stuff like that. But his rates will also get raised even though nothing got fixed. So that's how insurance companies, they want to make money at the end of the day. They don't want to be losing money. That's why in Florida, they're like, oh, we're not going to cover. If you're in a place where you can get hit with a hurricane, we're not going to cover hurricanes.
Yeah.
And then you find out your homeowner's insurance in fucking Idaho doesn't cover house fires for some fucking reason, and you're just like, why? It's like, oh, well, we just didn't cover that.
Oh, you didn't check that box.
Yeah, we never told you about that you should check that box either, but that's why we don't cover it. So insurance companies, anytime you have a claim, that's why they want to fuck you over, because they want that monthly pay. They don't want to have to pay out shit.
Yeah, it's like my dad always broke it down for his, I think it was his grandfather, that he was so devout Christian that he didn't gamble and he would not buy insurance because he's like, no, this is gambling. Like, you're betting that nothing will happen, and that's why you're hedging your bets, thinking that like my house will never have an issue. I'm paying you because I think there will be an issue, and when that happens, I want you to cover it. And he's like, that's just fucking gambling. Like,
it is gambling. It is a hit or miss.
It's the shittiest fucking gambling game ever.
Because a lot of it now with cars and stuff, you have to have that by law. And then you're paying that money by law. If you don't do it, you cannot drive. You will have to pay fines. You can get arrested. And then at the end of the day, if something happens, doesn't fucking cover nothing. No. And then another way that they make money, obviously, is through the judiciary system, the judicial system, arresting people. They're paying bails and stuff like that. So it is in essence good business for them.
Riots are, and plus it gets people like to take that exact tact. As if it's a right-wing protest, all the lefties look and they're like, oh, see these fucking crazy white supremacists, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then the switch it around and it's like, oh, these Antifa fucks, we should just fucking kill them in the street.
That puts you on board with saying, hey, let's take this away because, this side's using it for bad, so we don't need it here. Or this side's using it for bad, we don't need it here. When it's all fucking, it's bullshit.
And that's when we should all team up. Like, that's really, like, when you see the police and the military come out to basically terrorize American citizens, we should all join together at that time. It doesn't
matter if you are watching people on the left protest, if you're watching people on the right protest, once they are tear gassing people, once they are fucking shooting rubber bullets at people, they are now hurting Americans trying to exercise their rights as Americans. And that becomes a us problem, not a them problem. That's just something they're dealing with on that side. No, that's your rights right there just being shitted on in front of everybody. That's when you need to say, hey, we as Americans don't like this.
And that's where, like, yes, Randall Weaver, not a good person, had some really backwards views, but the like anti-government part of it, where
you should never see him get rolled up on, his family members get murdered, and you'd be like, good. Well,
and
he was a white supremacist.
After did you already get into the court date situation?
Yes, we're at the court date situation. Yep. Oh, well, you want to keep going?
Yeah.
All right. So we now have, all the government, what do you call it? Government agencies rolling up on the scene. You have different government agencies, which really kind of fucks things over. This was before or after Waco?
They all, I think Waco came next.
After, yeah. I think it came after.
But like with the Alphabet Boys, they aren't good at working together. They each want to be, the hero. King shit.
Yep.
And so they're not going to play extremely well together. They'll show up and, roll some shit together, but they're not like on the same page, sharing information.
They are rolling up on Randall like he is the Unabomber. He is some kind of genius who has the forest booby trapped.
Thousands of people will die if they don't.
Right. They have these crazy weapons. They don't know that this is just a guy who sold a gun to a fucking undercover agent who lives in a goddamn shack in the fucking mountains and is just, trying to raise his kids away from black people, okay?
Like basically a survivalist, yeah. Right. Anti-government survivalist that doesn't like black people.
Right, yeah. And it's just like, you know what? You go to school and they try to teach you that being black is okay, and I don't like that, okay? I want to get away from that. So I go into the woods, and that's neither here nor there. Your family still shouldn't be murdered. So they start rolling up. They start rolling up through the woods towards him, which alerts Randall's dog. Randall's dog. Obviously, here's an intruder. If you were in the woods and your dog starts going fucking crazy, you're like, okay, that's Bear or somebody.
Especially when you're a survivalist.
Yes,
in the woods with your family and guns and everything.
If my dog's going at it, I'm like, who's trying to sell me something, or what neighbor's there? If you're alone in the middle of the woods,
in Idaho.
Yeah, in Idaho, something's happening. So they start going down there. Nobody knows anything. No agency has announced themselves. They don't know anything that's going on. So as they come down, the dog's running. One of the agents kills the dog. All right. So he has, I think his 14-year-old son.
13, I think.
13. He has his 13-year-old son out there who just watched his dog turn into mist, for lack of a better terms, turn into mist. And he sees a guy with a gun He pulls up his gun to shoot, and the agency, I don't know which one it was, which agency person it was, they kill his son right there. So now there is a gunfight going back and forth. I don't know at this point if Randall can even understands that he's fighting against
the government
itself. The government, right. Or if he just has fucking people shooting at him. So he's shooting back. They go back up to the house. The Harris, the family friend, tells everybody, the son's dead. I don't think Randy is back at the house yet. So Randy comes up. He gets shot in the front yard. So he goes into the house. He is shot. Now, they're all inside of the house. When one of the people from the agencies, they're now inside of the house. They know that 2 of them have guns. They have been told that anybody with guns, you should treat them with lethal force.
Any males
with guns.
Adults.
You should treat them with lethal force. So I guess anybody holding a weapon. That's what they said.
Yeah.
Anybody holding a weapon. So I guess they saw when a mom was holding this little baby that I guess you could use that baby. You could throw it at somebody. I don't know how good of an effect that would have to the person. I know the baby it would probably kill, but the person, I don't think they'd be that hurt. So they just fucking headshot the wife right there.
Right next to the daughter.
Right next to the daughter. Just kill the fucking wife right there. Now they announced themselves.
With baby in hand.
Right. With baby in hand. And now they're like, now's a good time to announce ourselves. Hey, guys, you didn't show up for a court date. We would just like you to come down peacefully, please. Come down from that hill. If you could just waltz on over here. No guns. Except for that one guy. We might trust us. We still might smoke that guy because we're all trigger finger right now. If you guys can just walk down here and give yourself up, we would like that. Only after they kill the wife through the window. Are they like, hey, yeah, let's... I
think she had come out, to, check on Randy because he had been shot. And so that she was coming
so Randy was still outside. Okay, so she opens the door with a baby in her arms.
Yeah.
With a child in her arms. If you don't like the excuse of black guy with a cell phone, you are really not going to like the excuse of woman with a baby. They shoot her, kill her, and then... That's when they want to negotiate.
See,
hey guys, we are...
This is my issue with any time that we talk about violence inflicted upon a citizen, whether they've got a fucking gun or not. You are talking about highly trained individuals that know the scenario they're walking into versus people being bum rushed. Right or wrong.
Getting woke up in the middle of the night and then happen to be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yes.
Even if a SWAT team breaks into your house because there was a shooter that they think just went this way. Your family has nothing to fucking do with it. Yeah. They're going to break into your fucking house. They have been trained. And then you're going to get up scared. Okay. Yes. And if you grab a gun, you get killed. It was your fault in their eyes. You came out with a gun. What do you do? We haven't announced ourselves. We haven't said, hey, SWAT
team.
Even
if they did, and you're literally being woken up in the middle of the night, there's no reason that they should... for one thing, they're in your house without any reasoning. They have a reason to be in there, but you are supposed to be operating at their level without any sort of information. And so with this whole scenario here, killed dog, that's fine. I get it. Dogs rushing you guys should have cover. Because you guys are going into the scenario, you should have cover that you can avoid being shot by a 13-year-old kid.
Right.
You should be able to avoid being shot by Randall and his fucking buddy Harris. You should be prepared for that. And then start the negotiations from there. What's he going to do on the top of the fucking hill? Not a fucking thing. Who's he going to kill? Maybe one of you guys, but hey, you signed up for this job. This is your job. I don't get to go to the box factory and be like, oh, well, I didn't expect to have to make boxes today. That's part of your fucking job is being in a gunfight. And it's not to just murder everybody that walks. It's not playing duck hunt on fucking Nintendo. You should be prepared to be covered in these scenarios that you don't murder people.
Announce who the fuck they're going against. They've killed the dog and murdered a child.
And then a mom.
His child. And then they'd be like, well, then he opened fire on us. If I am a normal person and I don't know the SWAT team's in my house and my kid just ran downstairs and got killed right in front of me, I'm not going to believe you're the good guys.
Never.
You're not going to be able to convince me.
You are not the good guys.
Right, yeah.
You physically are not the good guys.
They're going to be like, well, ATF and FBI and all this stuff and be like, well, we're the good guys. We're trying to help. Then they start announcing themselves.
After they killed the mom with a fucking baby in her goddamn arms. That's the craziest part.
Like, not even after the kid. They still don't know what the fuck is going on. They run back up there, and it's till the mom gets killed that they have finally announced themselves. And here's one thing, too, is with how they're communicating with them, this could have all been done before you sent people in the woods to kill somebody.
Yes.
Like, before you sent people in the woods, you could have been like, hey, we got a police barricade down here. How about we just come down the hill? You could have your snipers ready for fucking, you know what I'm saying? If
they rush us, then right, yeah. If
we get rushed, we have all of this. We understand that there is 2 adults down there, son, adult. They know exactly how many people are there and that it's a family. And I guess one of the excuses they're going to first use is, well, what if we go up there to get Randall and he just starts murdering his family? He is in trouble for selling a sawed-off shotgun. Yeah. He is not in trouble for
murdering people.
Yes, he sold a sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah.
That would be like you getting in trouble for selling a bag of weed and then I run in there and kill your family because I thought you were the cartel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He sold a bag of weed. Once you do that, you could do anything.
Yeah, literally, I could be sitting here with a shotgun right now and a hacksaw fucking performing the same thing. And what did I do besides make a fucking barrel shorter? Like, I didn't, like, involve the Al-Qaeda. Like, I didn't, get the Bloods or Crips here to, like, put hits on people. I'm literally just modifying a gun.
Right.
And like, I guess that's in the heyday of, guns are bad. Let's ban everything. But also, like, what are you stopping by taking a guy out that modifies weapons? That's it. That's all you have on him, is that he modified a weapon. Let's go kill people. Honestly, in his family.
The story just goes down to, you're not doing what we want you to do. We will make you a fucking example. That's it. Because in
the most wrong way.
Even Waco too. I will be the first one to tell you that Waco feels illegal. And normally when people start,
which we need to get into, like, watch some stuff on that to become well-versed.
Look, we love telling life stories and stuff like that, but we also love conspiracy shit. So I believe some days when we can, like, watch conspiracy shit and then, like, kind of intertwine that with the life stories that we do, it's all fun, because there's not shit we can do. I can't go back and stop Ruby Ridge from happening.
No, I think the biggest thing, though, is people understanding how, like, I mean, it goes back to our political rants, and, like, not that I want to get in on any of them, like, but the way that we look at it, of it's not one side that's the problem, it's the fucking entity that's the problem. And
it's
that's
the people
really
telling the people what the problem is. That's the problem.
And that's really where Ruby Ridge shines a light, and Waco, and I mean, I'm sorry, but all of the stuff that's currently going on.
Imagine just like trying to help people understand what's going on with Waco, and you're just like, well, we're using this force because we want to help the kids, and then it's just like, random fire, now start just like fucking and opening fire, and they started that fire in there. We definitely did not do that. We're not trying to burn them out. They tried to burn them out, and you kill a lot of the kids in there, and it's just because you're doing something that the government doesn't want you to do. And then, especially with Waco, like, it's going on long enough where people are like, you guys look fucking stupid. Because they do look stupid. There's many ways to handle something, and you just look dumb while you're trying to do that. And then they're just like, well, we need to end this situation now so we can get it off the fucking news reports.
But it's kind of like, my issue with corporations and stuff is, like, say a corporation, like, I mean, you just take any of these car manufacturers and they knowingly put out a product that ends up killing people. Like, they die in fires or fiery crashes and all this stuff. Not a single person goes to jail and does the time for those deaths.
Let me give you a story that's going to piss you off a little bit more, okay?
But, like, just to finish up this point, though, and like in these Waco and fucking Ruby Ridge, like, I know some people did a little bit of time, but, like, the people that fired all these shots and, like, went in there guns a-blazing, like, why are they not doing, like, life in prison as if they did it not with the protection of a gun?
They're protected under the banner.
Exactly, which is insane. It's not right.
So just the money is really power, honestly. So it was like 2 years ago, I think, a Wizards of the Coast was releasing a set. So they're shipping it out, and somehow in distribution, a set that wasn't supposed to be mixed in with it got mixed in, and they had sent it to a small streamer who got the stuff and was like, oh, fuck, this hasn't been released yet. So I guess he starts opening it up and like does a live stream on it. Wizards of the Coast then sends the Pinkertons to his house to threaten and get the fucking product
Who's the
back.
Pinkertons?
The Pinkertons were the fucking guys in the 1800s and shit like that, early 1900s. I don't know what time they fizzled out. I guess never. But they were the law enforcement in their city. Like if they like crime was too much, the Pinkertons were formed to, you know, kill bad guys and shit like that.
Yeah.
And now they're their own little vigilante group of fucking, I don't know, losers that think they have no absolute any legal right. They try to break into your house and you're in a state that has a castle doctrine. You can just open fire on them, and then if they kill you, then they go to jail for murder. But they're the Pinkertons. They'll announce themselves as law enforcement. They are not. They have actual no right to do anything, and they pretty much tell this kid bad things are going to happen if they don't give him the stuff back. But they literally brought a fucking militia down to that kid's house to fucking get that shit back. And, you know, he doesn't know anything about any kind of law. Yeah. So he's just like, fuck, you know, these guys are law enforcement. They're not. If Pinkertons come onto your property and they threaten you and you're like, fuck off, bitches. Like, they're literally a
What was this in, like, the UK or something?
No, this was in the great United States of America, buddy.
There's Pinkertons in the United States? It just sounds like a UK type term, like, feeling like some like white rapper in the UK is going to rap about them.
I wonder if it was. I know the Pinkertons were here. They were like a Wild Wild West type organization.
Are they going to be mad at me for saying all that shit about them?
I don't give a fuck. If they stroll up on our shit, trying to I live in the great state of North Carolina, baby.
Castle doctrine the fuck
out of run up on my goddamn lawn. Then they'll be like, God damn, is this... Because I'll have already called Robbie. So they'll be like, is this guy in the military or something? I'm like, no, he just wanted to be, but he was real fat. So
they wouldn't let him in, but
they wouldn't let him in. But the Pinkertons, a private investigation and security company established around 1850 in the United States by Alan Pinkerton. They're a national detective agency. At the height of their power, they were the largest private law enforcement organization in the world. They were founded in Chicago. And then all these other places were like, we need our own private security. We need our own actual, not private, like investigators. I guess they're private investigators now. But they used to be like U.S. contracted and shit. So I want to see where that happened at. Pinkertons, Wizards of the Coast. Old school MTG was the one that they fucking sent them after. I'm trying to see where it was after, where it was at, what state it was in. Stepped over the line with Magic Dust Up.
So why didn't they just like reach out to him directly?
That's not what you do when you're rich people. You fucking send people to scare them.
Are they like that crazy rich? Like or what are they, like the Waltons?
Well, it's Hasbro. Hasbro's the parent company.
And so Hasbro sent these fuckers out?
They came in. If that's your parent company, then ultimately that is their responsibility for them getting sent out. So yes, Hasbro, the little gaming company, owns Wizards of the Coast. I'm trying to see what state it's in. It won't fucking say what state.
Well, Hasbro's like so fucking big, right?
Yeah. I mean, Wizards of the Coast still brings in billions of dollars a year. They're still big. So they sent it in saying, hey, I want my shit back. Yeah, Pinkertons can get mad at this. Fucking stroll up on my lawn. I'm serious. I'm gonna call my brother, and he's just gonna be like, now I'm gonna say this, and the fucking ATF is gonna go after him and all his legally owned guns. And
yeah.
Well, they're going to be like, well, I saw this fucking 400-pound guy come out of the house with no shirt on. He doesn't even have a gun in his hand, so we just thought to...
Just mowed him down just in case.
Yeah. He could absorb a couple of them. You got to use some high caliber stuff.
Well, see, that's one of my gripes with, like, you know, like, I understand, like, the assault weapon ban and stuff like that, but, like, you know, when people say, like, that only the criminals will have weapons, like, you know...
That is true. That is true.
It is, but
they're
also
the ones that's
like,
going to be like, oh, weapons are illegalized. Well, I'm going to keep mine.
Had we not been selling, you know, thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands and probably millions of
to
fucking
Mexico, to Iran, to Afghanistan,
and since like early 2000s here in America,
absolutely,
to everybody.
yep.
Like, so yes, they're everywhere, and there's no going back from that ever. Like,
that's the biggest thing, is that there is no going back. Like, it does suck that a lot of bad people have weapons, but there are a lot of homeowners, people who want to protect their families, that is never going to turn that gun on anybody else, that is not trying to hurt anybody. So at this point, your problem is way too far to go back on. What you can do is be like, okay, how can we make life easier for people? You know, if maybe we reduce the cost of living to where you can survive working 40 hours, if we made it just not so fucking hard, everything you get taxed on, everything you need insurance on, you have to pay money for every single thing you fucking do. If we made it a lot easier for people to live, crime goes down. That's just the thing. If it's easier for people to live, why am I going to do something crazy if I can live an okay life with my family?
See, I think that's the crazy thing, though, is like, I mean, just being at the mall earlier today, or, you know, just people watching, there's so many different like cultures and the way people are. Like, I mean, there's just people that, yes, they're just fucking rowdy, roughneck, fucking trashy people. You could give them the fucking world and they're still going to be that way. Like, I mean, there's people that I know that make a good living, and yet still they're drinking a 30 rack of fucking Bush and want to fight on the weekends. Like, that's just who the fuck they are.
Yeah, but
and
I'm talking about, like, as far as organized crime, and stuff like that.
But I mean, even outside of that, though, like,
but then you go towards also just mental health, man. Like, if you really wanted to stop gun violence, if you wanted to take a hit at gun violence and shit, then you say, hey, like, make mental health just one of the fucking charge. I mean, we're going to charge people whatever for any kind of, if you die in this country, if you get hurt in this country, we're going to charge you. But if you really cared that much, you'd make mental health just a free thing. Like, if you feel this type of way, go talk to somebody.
You're really sounding like a pussy right now.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, fucking no. In America, we want you, if you break your leg, you need to pay $115,000. Why $115,000? Because we made that number up. Go to a private hospital owned by one of your friends. You can't, because it's illegal. But that's like selling blood. Like, I'm just one of those free anatomy people. If I wanted to sell my fucking blood to somebody, I should be able to sell my blood. Yeah. It's like, no, you can't. That's illegal. That's nasty. And biochemical
regulations.
Yeah, regulations. You can't do. You come donate it to American Cross so I could charge somebody $1,000 a bag for it. Jesus fucking Christ.
I don't think that they're the ones. Like, I think there's different markets. Like, you can definitely sell your blood. I think it's mostly just plasma.
Just plasma. Yeah.
But that can be bought and sold. But yeah, the blood. Like, I mean, I guess I don't know. I might be talking out of my ass. They might sell bags of blood.
If you want my AIDS infused blood, bitch, that's what I'm saying. If someone's buying blood, I don't think they're buying it for like good reasons. I don't know why you're buying it. Maybe you're buying it to fucking drink it. I don't give a fuck. If I wanted to just go out and sell my blood to my neighbor who just started a blood buying business, I don't give, like, that's his prerogative of what the fuck he wants it for. But then to be like, no, you can't. The only way you can go through is through this
gigantic corporation can buy your blood.
I was watching all the data. Listen, I was watching when the levees broke this weekend. Fuck. And you know, I'm a conspiracy theorist too. And I was sitting there, and the levee breaking. So in 1927, they had bombed the levee so the French Quarter wouldn't flood, and for some reason, they flooded out the 9th district because who gives a fuck why? It was a lot of poor people. It was like actually a lot of poor white people, though, that they flooded out. So it wasn't a racial thing. It was just like let's flood the poor people. Yeah, we hate poor people. Right. So we could turn this land into businesses and shit. Whatever reason they had for doing it. So then when Katrina happens and the levee breaks for the fucking 9th district, and all these people are like, yeah, around the levees, like, we heard an explosion. And they're like, oh, the explosion was just the concrete crumbling. Because that doesn't make that fucking sound. Look, I'm one of the ones, because when I'm explaining it to my wife, I'm like, they heard like the detonations, just like you hear in the cell phone videos of another event that happened that people say bombs were not involved in.
Well, were there cell phone videos in that?
Well, I guess camcorder videos. Yeah. Fuck it. If I see a video of someone on the ground recording, I'm thinking they flipped out a cell phone. Not that they just, glad I had this in my car.
Well, you got to think back in the day, like, if you were, well, it wasn't just like, you know, had it in your car. Like, if you were going on a trip to New York City, like, you would bring something like that. Like, I mean, but back in the day, it wasn't like this big crazy thing. It was like, I mean, I had one at the time. It was a fucking
camcorder. It was a big block one, but
no, it was this fucking big. I got one. It's like,
so they were handheld, but like a lot of that shit did. Once you start like confiscating stuff and confiscating business cameras, a lot of people are going to be like, hey, we think you did something. What'd you do?
Well, yeah, and like you should keep copies of, like you should have a copy of
absolutely.
everything.
Like
The
ones around the Pentagon, when they started getting like the cameras and shit for there, it's like, well, now we think you've done something, and now we're going to start asking questions about where's the fucking the plane. You know what I'm saying? Like we're going to ask all these questions, and then you're going to be like, well, you know, science. Because I saw a video that was just, it was like the people like the jet fuel can't melt steel beams as the ace in the hole of, oh yes, it can. So obviously 9/11 did happen.
Well, they can weaken structures. Like that's the big thing. Is like it's not that it has to like melt it. Like, I mean, I guess they
started that though. They started that and they literally made that a meme just to get people off of the, because you could just be like, anytime someone says that they think 9/11 was an inside job, they'll be like, oh, you know, what do you think jet fuel came? They say the meme so you feel stupid about it, when that is one of many things. Once again, we ain't going to talk about that until we have done a little bit of looking into it, because I've watched and read many of things on it, but it's been so long since I've talked about it, because
I always thought jet fuel was like this crazy like thing. It's literally kerosene.
Yeah, it's just gas. Yeah.
No.
Well,
it's kerosene.
But at its base, yeah, it's no like crazier than anything else. It's not like this just super energized fucking.
It's like home heating kerosene.
Right. It's
like,
it's not this crazy fucking.
Poor folk know what kerosene is. Like you put it in your fucking kerosene heater and
it makes your house warm, and you're like, yeah, but people think about it as shit. Like, you need this shit, and you put it in your car and it'll fucking launch to the moon, and it's like, no. But it's slower burning, I guess.
I think it ignites at a lower temperature. I think it
has something to do with the pistons in the engine. Look, we're not
flashes at like 114 or something like that, like very low.
But then I saw the levees too, and I'm just thinking, like, I get it, like, when a hurricane comes and you have waves and stuff like that, but how much more pressure has been being put on those levees already holding the water? And I guess you got the wind and everything like that to make the levee break. Like, and I just started thinking about that stuff. I'm like, fuck, like, it's so hard to, because everybody else is just like, haha, those black people were obviously really scared of a hurricane because they misremember hearing those loud explosions, when all of them just like, yeah, 3 explosions. You heard 3 explosions. There was 3 explosions, 3 explosions. All of them just like 3 explosions. And then you get the people on there is like, preposterous. But they did this twice, you know, fucking 60s, and then in 1927 they did do that. Then yes.
Well, see, the crazy thing is the aftermath of it too. Like, people weren't like bending over backwards to get these people back in their homes. They were basically trying to like fuck them out of where they were at, and then like rebuild new stuff and not let them back
out there. Yeah, it's a big tourist. It's beautiful. It's the mountains, man. We want to build stuff out here in the mountains. We want to put stuff out there.
What are you talking about in North Carolina now?
Yeah, look, I'm like tying it in. Yeah. We want to build stuff out there. Mountains are beautiful. Great little tourist spot. Got all these people living here though. How do we get rid of them? All fucking, you know, dams and flooding them out and all that. Look, that's just the conspiracy side of me. I'm always going to think.
See, the wild
because
thing,
they've shown it time and time again in the past, though, that.
But it's just wild seeing some of the footage from that one. Is like, you know, like, I mean, people on the side of a mountain, no dam or anything, and like just feet of water coming like from nothing to just sweeping. Like, it was insane.
Well, there was a reservoir, like, dam that caused the flooding and stuff. So,
but it didn't, like,
because they were talking about how the water was so saturated from the storms that the other water had nowhere to go. That was, I guess, spilling out of it. I don't know. They have so many kind of stupid fucking excuses for it. Because, like you said, the river does get flooded and it just starts, you know, these massive landslides and shit like that. And then I'm just like, man, I've heard this song and dance many a fucking times.
Yeah, but I mean, like, some of it's true though. Is like how, like, because you have to think like a single dam or anything, it's going to find a path. It's going to go down that path. Right. But like, these are different hills, like not at all near that like just like sheets of water, just like deep water just fucking comes and washes out the hillsides. Like, it's not coming from the one location. It's coming from fucking like that. There's that much water that could just basically appear out of nowhere.
Water is like I think if the world were to end, it'd be a water type event.
Yeah.
Just because that's the most plentiful, just destructive. If there's a large enough mass of it moving, there's nothing on earth that could stop it.
That's where, like, when that's the Joe Rogan that I like to hear, is the crazy, like, every single every single culture throughout the whole world has a flood story. You know, the Bible likes to claim it like as its own, but literally every single place on this earth, if they've got a long enough history, they talk about a great flood. And so like it's not like it that's where like I disagree with the Bible's flood is like, oh, Noah got this boat and he just floated around for 40 days and 40 nights. Blah, blah, blah.
I think a lot of, and this is my just take on it, I think a lot of, especially when you have, you know, like Krishna and fucking you got Horus and then the fucking, what's the other one? But like a lot of these religions, they have like, you know, a resurrected son who died on the cross and was resurrected 3 days later.
Man, you got so much shit for saying that one on.
I did, but I'm not using it as an excuse to like disprove Jesus. I'm just saying, hey, maybe y'all are talking about the same motherfucker. Like maybe there, you know, is a God, sent a son, whatever. Like all these different cultures talking about this guy.
Well, the wild thing with that is like when you really bring it down to that, like when you look throughout the world, there's so much connection and so many things supposedly happen on the same timeline with people that they claim had no interaction with each other. So like either there could be the one guy who's some magical fucking sky guy and went to Israel and then also was over here and was over here and like transferred information to all these different places, or, you know, they were all interconnected at some point. But yeah, like,
well, they believe that a lot of these came from astrology.
Yeah.
Because,
which I mean, yeah, a lot of it does make sense that it is like an astrological, like,
yeah, they talk about, you know, because back in the earliest forms of civilization, the sun was the god.
Yeah.
You know, it brought you warmth. If the sun wasn't there, it was fucking cold. Plants didn't grow.
Jesus was the son of God.
So, and then it all talks about like the astrological formations of, the only thing is in different parts of the world, you have, you know, I guess different viewpoints of when those, I don't know how exactly that works in the idea behind that. But.
So yeah, I mean, I guess if you're talking Northern Hemisphere versus Southern Hemisphere, like it would be different. That's maybe why, other than, because I mean, even if you were to talk about like the Aztecs and everybody, they're all Northern Hemisphere people as well. So
I don't know. It's fucking crazy. I know we live in a world where there is I wouldn't say a power struggle, because there is one side that unequivocally has the power, and they could be bought out, not by anybody like us, but from, you know, bigger corporations and stuff like that. And then there's the little guys, and the little guys will never, ever be able to, you know, stake claim to be able to have their voices heard in that, you know, power struggle.
See, that's where I think it only exists that way just because people refuse to. But
that's what I'm saying, unless we come together.
Which is never going to happen.
Once we come together, we can kind of have that, you know, power struggle that we have. You know, it becomes more of a conversation. You know, you can sit there and you can have a lot of money and everything like that. But then when you look at something that is, you know, 350 million people strong, you start to be like, well, fuck, my money doesn't feel real anymore. That's when, you know, things start changing. But, you know, there's a black van outside.
Are they? Are they here? Let me check to see if they're.
Yeah, they're gonna eventually start coming down. No, it's not outside yet, but eventually you get one of those by talking about it. But it's just so fun. I enjoy talking about conspiracies. I understand a lot of things can be boiled down to ineptitude, swinging dick syndrome, which is you want to show your power and shit like that, and to prove you're the coolest.
And being part of group, like, because that's the thing is, once all these politicians, like that was one of my biggest problems with like Obama, is once he became the president, like he changed who he was. Like he was no longer the man of the people like he campaigned on. And as soon as a lot of people get there, they change.
My favorite thing is, because, you know, you talk about just absolute cartoon characters like Trump and Biden and shit like that people were like, oh, I wish we could go back to an Obama. And I'm like, yeah, man, but that guy killed a lot of people. Yeah. He was like, fuck, he did. Obama, if you breathe funny, like fucking Syria, when they started gassing their people, they're like, Syria's gassing their people? We'll fucking bomb their citizens. We'll show them who's boss. Yeah. It's like, what? No, and it's so crazy too, because that's how you know all of this shit is just fucking hoopla. Because it doesn't matter what Israel does, Iran does, any of these countries done. It's always, they bomb the cities and the people where the poor people are. They never bomb the governments. They never fucking attack. And that's how you're like, is this shit for show?
Well, and strategically, like, I mean, back to this fucking one that we're talking here is like, y'all know that you're going. Like, and like you know how to get to certain people. Like, it's not like it's a fucking guessing game for you. You're going.
Right. We know exactly. Like if we're like Iran, we know exactly like, you know, the people and the rich people and all that stuff. Ignore that. No, because
strategically
we're just making this a
take them
show.
out.
Yeah, we're just making this a show. We got to have people scared.
I mean, they do it with drug cartels all the time, like taking out like kingpins and shit. They
absolutely,
do it.
and they could be hidden behind layers and layers and layers of armed people. And it's like, no, we send in a fucking, you know, we send in this
team.
Yeah, just a strike. No, fucking, we send in a dog. The dog just like walks through. All of a sudden, he has these little pins come out. The pins know to seek for this guy. He has hepatitis B, and the hepatitis B pin sinks into his body and explodes him. And it was like, it was that easy. But then, like, they're talking shit about the fucking, you know, are we enemies with this guy in Russia? Are we enemies with the, you know, and nothing ever happens. But then also, if you solve the problem, you can't use that on a later date to scare the people. And it's like, well, you know, Russia's really thinking about using nuclear weapons. So now Donald's got to go down there and convince, because they're trying to get, you know, everybody back on the Trump bandwagon ever since he was like, Epstein files didn't exist. That was all a figment of your imagination. How many times am I in that? 7? God, they didn't exist at all. Which is crazy because they'll be like, well, why didn't the Democrats release it? Huh? They would have released it if they knew. And it's because their names are in there too. So why are they going to release it?
And they were in the investigation part. And like, so there's only so much that you can do like during the actual investigation. I'm not campaigning that, but yeah, it's everybody's fucking in those papers, and they'll find any excuse,
and all these rich, all the rich people that are in there.
Well, because it's not just
crazy
politicians.
How the whole government then just like agrees on this.
They're like, not politicians only.
You see them come together for the first time. They can't come together through anything to make anybody's life in America good. They can't come to like anything that deals with like economics and like people making more money. Nothing like that. Fuck all that.
No, they can come together to like try to ban weed, like the legal weed that's available. Like right, they can try to do that.
They could put we can all come together to put like, you know, a fucking, you got to be 21 to buy vapes and stuff like that. But anything else, they're just like, no, we can't come together on that.
That was something that we brought up like before the show, that, you know, it is wild that like, you know, they've raised the age of drinking to 21. That was something that happened like in my parents' generation. They've raised the smoking to 21.
Well, you're not an adult until you do all those.
Yeah. And then, but the age of consent's still 18.
Well,
well, actually it's like 16.
It's lower than that. And it's like, well, there's a different kind of adult, okay? There is, and this is like a politician sweating going, well, I fuck 16-year-old kids, and I go to this island where I'm fucking all these kids, and if I ever get caught for that, I don't want to go to jail for a long time, so we're just going to keep it.
They're adults.
Yeah, if you do get in trouble for it, like, if you look at these different kind of laws, and that law carries a light punishment, which is usually like your child molestation laws, rape laws, and stuff like that. They carry a lighter punishment, and you're like, well, that doesn't make sense.
That should be a pretty
That's because the people who are making the laws want to future-proof if they ever get in trouble with that law. Well, it's like, I want the minimum of probation, all right? And we all know I was a politician. I did all this good for people. Right people? No. Right other politicians? Yes. And I was like, he did good for people. And then the media is like, well, he did good for people. And all the people are like, who the fuck did he do good for? And then he gets the minimum of probation.
And so now that we got all that handled, I would like to suggest that we all get a raise. What y'all think?
But I don't know. It's so fucking wacky. I do like talking about these little stories, man. I like talking about them more when I was on blow around like a kitchen table. There's like a bunch of guys there, and I fucking loved those moments.
Did you ever listen to, or I played it for you? I don't think you had listened to it before. The Immortal Technique. Bin Laden didn't blow up projects.
Well, I mean, I've listened to like a bunch of stuff like that. Well, like there was that one that was like, if the Bloods and the Crips unite, we could take on the U.S. military tonight. And then everybody was like, all the black people want to attack the military. I was like, that's not what they're saying. They're saying like, if people united, that would be strong. He just used that because it rhymed really good and it sounds really good. And they're just like, well, what if all the Bloods and Crips do get together and then they fucking take our Cracker Barrel? I'm like, that's not, no. Because here's the crazy thing. If all like black people teamed up, and I'm not talking about like the black people who make TikToks who, you know, want to not partake in society, or the white people that, you know, stand up for black people who have never met a black person. I'm talking about the black people that you grew up with, the black people you work with, the black people that, you know, you played fucking cops and robbers with as a fucking kid, you fucking played tag with as a kid, like the people you fucking grew up with. Like if they united for a cause, and you could be like, oh, that's Americans, instead of saying, hey, that's black people. Or if white people could fucking, team up, and you'd be like, hey, that's America. If we could just say, hey, as Americans, and we can unite at least under that banner, because we should unite under the banner of humanity anyways. We just don't. We look at invisible fucking borders and shit like that, because we've been told to our whole lives that this is our country, and these people are different, and this is, the people above us are different, the people to the sides of us are different. Maybe not here because we don't got people to the sides, but if there were, they would be different. Instead of saying, hey, what
fucking make believe,
why is it like, as I go further south, how am I different now? As I go farther east, how am I different? If I'm farther west, we're all fucking people. And if we can't unite under just under being people, then it should be the next best thing, being Americans. Now, being American, you're going to have, people who believe in Christianity, Judaism, Catholicism, any fucking thing else. That's cool. That's what you call, values, family values, your morality aspect. The separation of church and state was saying, hey, we're going to have a bunch of people that all believe in different things, and we should not pass laws based on whoever the most
specific religion.
The biggest religion at the time is, because that's going to, fuck over everybody. What we should do is we should separate that and then say, hey, do people have the right, the unequivocal human right of life? They're not having their life taken away for selling a sawed-off shotgun, right? Liberty, you have the right to
live on a hill in Idaho.
Yeah, be free, even though you are taxed for that house, and then you got to get a license to drive the car, and then the fish and all this other stuff. But liberty, and then the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness means that you are not you don't have the innate right to be happy, but you can work towards that. And we live in a country right now that the cost of living is so high. The wages are not high because, trickle down economics. Look, Republican or Democrat, you can say Reagan did a terrible job.
Oh, no.
If you, in fact, do tax cuts for the richest of the rich people, it does not trickle down to the poor people. They just use that money to buy up other different
money-making industries,
making money and shit like that.
You will not get people on the right to agree to that. You just won't. Like, there's never going to be a time, like, because if you talk to somebody that is on the right now, Reagan was one of the greatest presidents of all time, and his economic policies are fantastic. And it's wild, because like, that is the inability to see the forest for the trees. Like, you just can't make out
that literally started the downfall.
Yes,
that was the president that started the downfall of America. And honestly, we've not had a real president since to stop that. We've not.
No,
there's not been any good president. They have all just been. We want someone to sit there and then to say the words that we want to at the right time, essentially.
Well, basically sell
you have
the
a
United
government
States
that can
workers.
be lobbied. There is no way a government that can accept any kind of anything to sway them to pass any kind of law that is corruption.
It's unjust.
Like, you're not. It doesn't matter if you think capitalism's right, socialism's right. The people that you have in Washington right now, Republicans, Democrats, they're all corrupt. Like, you cannot run any kind of system. Nobody's going to have any kind of peace doing that. Look, once again, I love my Republican brothers and sisters, my Democrat brothers and sisters. Reagan fucking trickle-down economics literally destroyed this country, because they were like, we're going to give rich people more money. We're going to tax them less, because that will go down to the poor people.
Yeah, once they make so much money, they're just going to give more money to people below. What they started doing was, they're like, oh, we can use this money to either take over the whatever we're in right now, or we can just branch out and do different things with that money. The big thing that's happening right now is stock buybacks. So basically, a corporation is required to make a profit. Basically, that's what you owe to all your shareholders, is to make them a profit. However, one of the easiest ways to do that is if you can buy back your stock prices end up going up, because you're like limiting the pool of the stocks. And so rather than taking that money and paying your workers better, improving your infrastructure, investing back into your company, the easiest way to make your stock go up is to just buy back the stock. And so you don't have to pay any taxes on that money too. And so that's where they've been just literally just buying back. And then so it's rotting out the working class. And then it's also making the people that own stocks ungodly amounts of money. And so like this whole system, which is basically predicated upon the tax system that Reagan fucked up, has made it so that it's just rotted out the whole bottom of the economy. So the people that actually show up every day, make the goods, do the work. I just love when they show like every single chart
of like when people were happy, you know, fucking just like a graph of when people were happy and they could like afford a house and be comfortable and everything like that. And it's just like from Reagan, it just goes down.
Well, you had the 90s.
You can't point it there.
You had the 90s with like the .com boom and stuff like that, and like pretty decent, like right before NAFTA, or like right as NAFTA was coming in. And like this is the thing, is like Reagan fucked it up. And then fucking Bush, I think, was kind of benign. He was just there. And then you have Clinton that just like poured gas on it with like, hey, let's ship all of our jobs overseas.
Right, yeah.
Let's just let's ship them down to Mexico. Right, let's ship them to China.
But because people so hard fight for their colors, because you're not fighting for people. They don't give a fuck about you. They're all rich. They do not give a rat's ass about you.
Yeah.
To be like, yeah, Reagan fucking started the fire. Clinton poured gas on it. They'll be like, well, I agree Reagan started the fire, but Clinton didn't pour any gas on it. Or they'll be like, Reagan didn't do nothing, but I agree Bill Clinton
and
was
then,
bad. If you could just say, hey, they were both bad. And then George Bush was just inept.
Well, inept, but also had like fucking legitimate, when I don't think most people are like a superhero movie villain. I don't think they are. Dick Cheney, fucking A right. Just a fucking evil human being.
Right.
Evil fucking dude. Worked for fucking Halliburton, totally cool with warmongering, and like just fucking, and then raped our privacy laws, like completely like surveillance state to the max with the Patriot Act and all this stuff. And like everybody's like,
9/11 happened.
Let's do it. Like fucking.
Well, the terrorist attack, how are you going to stop him? It's
Republicans,
okay
Democrats, both were like, yep, yep, let's do it. And
if it comes to any right, they will both agree on it.
Yes.
Like, look how they can't come together on anything, and they fucking swoop together on TikTok. Like when they were like,
TikTok,
let's get rid of this.
They're trying to go after the legal weed. Like they're legitimately like, oh no, you guys got to go back to the black market. You cannot buy this at a local convenience store.
The kids
you can't
might
do
get
it. Yeah, because the kids didn't have an easier time.
And now the kids that we fuck might be high, and that's not good.
Yeah, we don't want them. We don't want them being like out of it.
High. Yeah, we want them. We want to make eye contact. You can't make eye contact with them if they're smoking weed.
Whatever that fucking chemical they say they get from fucking the kids. I can't remember what it is.
Like I don't know, but they should be on a pyre.
Yes.
One day I think, shit will come together so much that, because here's the thing, I don't believe in any.
Are we having like a legitimately like decent political debate without actually
we're not
having
going like really crazy off with it, because we'll get like really in the weeds about it, and then we'll let a lot of emotions,
and then we usually delete it.
Yeah, we're like, we should delete that. But I don't think there's any. Here's the thing: like people will be like, well, we're so fucked now, we can't like unfuck anything, and I'm like, that's not. Well, if you have 350, if you're 350 million strong. Which is also another reason why the internet's so niche now. They were like, oh, fuck, we got this thing where everybody can come together about something. Let's start like putting them in their own sectors and shit like that. But I think when you are 350 million strong, like if one day I think there will be one day where people are like, fuck, we've had enough. And they'll look over to that blue-haired neighbor that they've blamed all their problems on and be like, you're not the reason I'm so unhappy. And then they'll look at that country boy and they're like, you're not the reason I'm so unhappy. And they can come together. But I think until that day, shit's only going to get progressively worse. The things you love, the things you can actually like look forward to will be things that'll be fizzled out or monetized to an extent you can no longer partake in it just because it can. Because there are rich people who benefit from all these tax breaks, who have the money to take over what avenue they can. Fuck how you feel.
Yeah, at what point does it make sense to give more and more and more and more and more and more tax breaks when none of that is helping? Like it hasn't helped. You guys have tried this.
All the proof to show that
you've tried this. You've tried it, and you've tried it again, and you've tried it again, and you've tried it again.
Once again, Republicans were like, well, we can't raise minimum wage because then the cost of goods will rise. And they were like, fuck you, we're raising the cost of goods. And then Republicans were just like, well, you still, because like then they'll go even higher. And it's like, no, they just did what you said without fucking people. Once again, you have companies making billions, 40, 50, 60 billion dollars. If you said, hey, you only get to make, instead of making $40 billion, I don't know if you guys know how much a fucking billion is. It's a lot of money. You only get to make $38 billion this year, but your employees can actually afford to live. And then people are just like,
You can't take that money.
can't
That's
take
their
that
money.
from
That's
him.
their money.
And
They
I
earned
get
it.
what you say. Like, I understand saying somebody earned that money. No, you have lobbied the government to make that harder for people for you to be able to earn that money. You made it in an unjust way, which means fuck you. Like that is a point where you can say fuck you. You didn't earn that money in an honest way. You stole that money from people by lobbying fucking government to give you a fucking tax break because you said, oh yeah, we'll let that go down to the, and you didn't.
Well,
you
and
then used
like,
that money to buy back your stocks, buy into other fucking different fucking avenues that you're not even supposed to be in.
You look at the fight between Elon and Trump right now, though, is like one of Trump's fucking bargaining chips is taking away all the government subsidies that fucking Elon gets. Like they always like to be like, well, he did this on his own. No, the fuck he didn't. We financed it. We're paying the fucking bill because we're giving him this fucking grant and that grant and this money and this loan and this
that get built. These billionaires that own football teams. They don't pay for these stadiums.
No,
They're
we
like,
do.
the city's going to pay for this fucking stadium, and we're going to tax everybody.
Because the economy is going to rise because all these people are coming into
the stadium. Yes, because of this fucking football team. Will you ever see it? No, you will not. No, you won't even notice it. You won't even.
No, because the amount that they put out for it ends up being more than it ever pays back to the
man. It's God. Look, if. That would be. That would be an honorable, because people like to be, people like to say, hey, the guys with Flint, they all got murdered for, doing that stuff and talking about it can. But man, I would rather just.
What are you talking about? Flint, Michigan?
Yeah, Flint, Michigan. Everybody who exposed that's dead now.
Are they really?
Yeah. Every single one of them. Every single one of them died in different ways, conveniently. But I would rather talk about it and get my feelings out there and just be like, hey, guys, come together. And just get absolutely just headshot as I walked out of a fucking Wendy's, okay?
But see, that's the thing, though, is like, once again, back to like Obama. Like, when that was a thing, he's like, oh, hey, nice to see you guys in Flint. Drinking fucking water out of a cup.
None of them are good. None of them are good. None of the politicians are good, because that shit's still going on to this day. But none of them are good. None of them are decent people. If there is something that is going to cost a corporation a lot of money, instead of fixing that, the corporation can go, well, what if I just like put like a tenth of that money over here to get you guys to say that this is fucking okay?
Or kind of like Duke Power with the ash, what is it? Whatever ash spill that they had, where it's like basically arsenic and all this shit that spilled into the water, and then they're like, well, we got to pay a lot to clean it up, so we're going to raise everybody's rates to clean it up.
It was our fault anyways.
No,
but you have no other choice, because you're like, what, if you don't pay it, you don't have power.
Where's your guys' fucking insurance? Like, you guys pay for this. We didn't make the fucking mistake to.
We got to get some good conspiracy guests on here.
Let's do the coal ash one, because I think that one's very pertinent to. And then like,
and not a lot of people's talked about it too.
Well, and also you have like the 3M that does the Teflon coatings and stuff like that, and all that water getting spilled into. And there's a million of those, because like that's all working class people. Like the mountaintop removal in West Virginia.
I don't know if you know this. Every single conspiracy, at the end of it, the only people that get fucked is working class people.
Yes, always.
Because whether you want to believe that 9/11 was a terrorist attack or it was a, inside job by the government, fucking insurance scam, whatever you want to call it, 2,000 Americans lost their lives, and not a lot of, I don't know how many were in the 1%, but I think none. I have not looked into that number. Don't fucking judge me on that number, but I am going to say none lost their lives in that event. So yeah. At the end of the day, any of these things that happen with,
well, and even you look
Flint,
at it,
Duke, Michigan, Ruby Ridge, anything that happens, it's us dying.
If you look at the 9/11, though, it's literally what happened afterwards. Like, it's the Patriot Act. It's like, we can spy on you guys as much as we fucking want. That's why I
think
like,
you scare people.
Yeah.
You get them scared, and then, you're trying to pass the Patriot Act. Everybody's like, whoa, we have rights. We have rights to privacy and all that stuff. And then, 9/11 happens. Like, well, we're going to pass this for you guys. Remember, and that's what they're trying to do with, these different protests from the left, different protests from the right. You do it enough, and then everybody's just like, well, fuck, I'm just tired of seeing these other people fucking do it. And
so I will say, with the War of the Worlds, that's the cherry on, like, not to ruin the ending, but I will
never continue watching that movie.
So at the end, basically ice cubes, like, you know, like they try to offer him this like big like job of like watching to make sure that the surveillance,
like, oh, yeah.
and he's like, no, I'm gonna be watching you guys. And so
talking
like,
about the government.
Yeah. And ultimately that's really what we need to get to the point of, and that's why
there's still people that think that fucking Snowden's a criminal.
Yeah, no,
that's the most baffling thing. He's like, hey guys, you were getting spied on, and they're like, honestly, here's the thing. We all knew it too. He was just saying, hey, you are getting spied on. And people are like, well, he released documents, and that is why.
Classified documents.
That's why 9/11 happened, because of Snowden. And I'm just like, how do you fucking 2 and 2 that together, buddy? How did you just grab? He was like, well, now the terrorists have. They have what? Well, nothing, but I'm just going to say, because the government's told me to say that.
Well, if they could have just found Hillary's emails.
Bro, that guy's still in fucking asylum.
Well, and that's the thing, though, is like, there's nobody
someone
that's good.
In 1776, they'd be like, that's a fucking American hero, right? Yeah. He went into the depths of the fucking British government and got all this fucking records about how we're getting fucked and spied on and all this shit. They'd have been like, oh, fucking yeah, great. And now we have it where some Americans are going to be like, well, a traitor. He's a traitor. That's great. Look, eventually, and hopefully soon, the political dick sucking, because that's what all it is. It's a political dick sucking. I'm righter than you, yada, yada, yada. Hopefully one day that'll end, and then we can kind of get on the same page, because once it's different to have a plight, and then you're going up against the government, and then also half of the country. And then it's different to have a plight, and you're going up against the government, and the government's going against all of the country.
Everybody,
because then that's when you start to feel small. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter how much money or how much power you feel you have. It's like in The Dark Knight when the guy's like, you know, I'm in charge, and Bane's like rubs his fucking face, and he's like, do you feel it? Do you feel in charge? And then the guy's like, oh, you know, and he dies. That's what it's like, man. And until we can kind of get to that point, we have the ability to connect now more than ever, which kind of gives me that feeling that, you know, now when information is released, like we're going to delete the Epstein files, and it doesn't go over as well as they thought it was, and fucking a lot of these Republicans are like, well, he's a child molester if he's saying that. You know, only 22% of Republicans really fucking believe that his name's not in those files. Shot his goddamn approval rate down to the fucking floor, where now it was like a shoe-in that fucking JD Vance would probably do well against any, because the DNC hasn't built anybody up, because they're just as corrupt as all shit. The Republicans are corrupt as all shit, but the DNC hasn't built anybody up. And then that comes out, and they're just like, well, fucking JD Vance fucked the couch. And once Republicans start saying that, once we all can say, hey, that guy fucked the couch, that's when the world starts healing. Once we can say, like, you know, well, he came from
call people on their own bullshit.
Yeah, once you can call people on their bullshit. Once you can say, I voted for, like, there's a lot of, I see in comment sections now, where he's like, I voted for him. I did not vote for this, bro. No. And like, people will be like apologizing. They're like, listen, I did not see this coming. This is the weirdest fucking freak show ever. Once you got actors coming out saying, hey, you know, we're ICE individuals and we're going to go attack fucking Hispanic families who just like work here, who have never taken a job. The only jobs they fucking get are the really hard fucking jobs that nobody fucking wants.
Yeah.
He's worked here for 20 fucking years. They're not going to do a goddamn thing about criminals or anything like that, because A, they're not in this country long enough to fucking do anything. They're going back to get drugs. Like, most of, if not all, the cartels actually live in Mexico. The people they're going after now is just like the family dudes.
Yeah.
Go to a Sheetz at 3 o'clock in the morning, collect those people. Red, yellow, black, or white. I guarantee you'll have a better country.
Yeah.
But they want to go after just like a hardworking guy who fucking has not done anything. Exemplifies family values, you know, spending his weekends around his son and shit like that. It's a very wacky place we're in right now. But I do think that the more you can see humanity in people, the more you can come together, no matter what they believe in, the more you can fight for the same cause that is going to help your living situation get better. If you fight this long fight and think you're fighting a great fight just to get prayer in school, and then you go back home and you're like, God damn, I'm poor. You fought the wrong fight. I'm going to tell you that right now. You fought the wrong fight.
Well, because like, that should be happening at home. That's your personal thing.
Right,
and you do
pray
that
at
and
home. Like, that's where, if you are a godly household, then make sure your household is godly. You don't have to then go make sure your neighbor has a godly household.
I think this is one of the things that I've learned over the years, because I used to be hardcore left, hard fucking social justice warrior myself at one point, and then I went extremely right and went to like libertarianism, because like basically what I figured out is like, I don't like the fucking government.
I think that's
don't
the
like 'em
natural progression anybody makes, though. Look, the left's got some bangers. Okay, they got like, you know, they'll be like, but look at this black kid, and he doesn't deserve having anything racist happen to him. And you're just like,
You're right.
Oh, you're right.
Yep.
And then he'll be like, yeah, I'm just poor. Like, you know, I just, you know, I'm going through the same cost of living thing you going through. And then, you know, eventually you're like, oh wait, we're doing this, so yeah, y'all could be a bunch of do-nothings and still give tax breaks to the rich and believe in this fucking capitalistic scheme, and but you're making everybody happy through morality things.
Yeah.
Like, look at how hated these gay people are, and you're like, they're not hated. Like,
most people, like real people, don't hate them.
Don't hate them. And it was like,
but
well,
you're trying to make
a whole
laws
bunch of stories about how everybody hates them,
yeah.
and then we're going to get all these guys to talk about how everybody
and then
hates
we're
them.
going to make laws to try and like jockey ourselves into this moral superiority thing.
And then you're like, okay, so that was crazy. And then you go like, well, that's, you know, they're making dancing videos of people who died during COVID, even though we know like the pharmaceutical industry is very corrupt. And people are like, well, I'm not going to trust a vaccine. And I'm like, listen, I don't care how you feel about it. If you like that, take it. If you don't trust it, don't. Like, that is, you have freedom. Like, this is what this place is supposed to be. You don't then talk shit to whoever did it. That's how their family feels. But then to make dancing videos because someone didn't take a vaccine from a pharmaceutical company that we have talked about being time and time again so corrupt, so nasty, just to be like, yes, if you don't take it, you don't care about people. And then making the dancing videos, that's what got me out of it. I was like, oh, we're not a side of love. We're a side of being right. That's it.
Yeah. Well,
and then
especially
I go over
because
here and I look at the right and I'm just like, you're not a side of family values and shit like that. You're a side of, let me give all these tax breaks to the rich, and then ultimately, if you don't like our side, you don't like God, and I don't know how they've done that, but Christians.
Well, you don't like the United States. You're not American. You're not patriotic.
I fucking hate the government. I love my goddamn country.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, if you have you seen me talk shit to the British?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will, because you don't have a guy. You can talk about how fat we are. Okay, I'll talk about a war in 1776 that we whipped that ass on.
Try again.
I am patriotic for this country. What the government has really done is they've really spun this web where it says, hey, if you don't fuck with what the government's doing, you're not patriotic. Well, no, we just don't fuck with what you're doing.
But that's the thing, is they make it so it's just a jockeying race. It's the left this time, it's the right this time, and they just keep it divided enough that keeps it going. And like, I don't know how to say it any other way, is like,
I'm glad we tied this onto the Ruby Ridge one, so a bunch of people will watch this, and then they'll get like to this part before they go, oh God, no, he's talking shit about Democrats, or oh God, he's talking shit about Republicans, and then they get off of it.
Well, and that's the craziest thing though, is like, I don't like his white supremacist views, but like ultimately he just wanted to be up in the fucking woods left alone. That's how all of us should feel, is to just be left the fuck alone.
Right, at no point
as long as you don't hurt people, you're fucking left alone. He should sold a sawed-off shotgun, illegal, whatever. Like, shouldn't be any sort of like serious time or anything like that. But like, had he like paid his dues, whatever, blah blah blah. He didn't like black people. He didn't like Mexicans, whatever. Like that, I don't like that personally as a human. I don't like that of his views. However, did he actually act upon those views? Did he take out black people? Did he go and round up Mexicans like we're currently fucking doing? Like, did he treat those people with disdain? I don't fucking know. I don't know his story. However, they didn't get him for any of that. They got him for weapons. And like, the thing is he ultimately wanted to be a survivalist up in the woods, being left the fuck alone from the government, which all of us should also feel. And so, right or wrong, his personal views on race, outside of that, we all should be on the same team of like, hey, government, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you don't get to run up in those woods and then murder his fucking family.
Yes.
And then like, hey, can we talk? No, you don't get to do that. Like,
do you want to have pancakes with your kids?
That's what, if this country could just separate morality with, because if you were able to work 40 hours and just be happy, and if you wanted more, work 60, 70 hours. If people could do that, they would not give a fuck about what someone else is doing. But imagine getting starved, and then you see one Mexican on food stamps with a grocery cart full of shit while you're working and slaving away. You're gonna be like, that's the enemy. That's why I don't have anything. When it's your fucking government that's doing that.
I had somebody ask me, they're like, why is coffee creamer covered by food stamps? And I was like, why the fuck not? Like, it's not a luxury. Like, I mean, some people like creamer in their coffee. Like, I don't.
Right. If people are paying more for the fucking food stamps to get these brands and creamers and stuff like that, that's less money they're going to have to survive on the month. There's some people who take food stamps and use them for what they're worth.
Yeah.
That does not fucking matter. What matters is like you're sitting here drowning, blaming the wrong people, because you could go out, get crazy and kill everybody that's on food stamps. Guess what? You're going to be just as poor.
And so will the fucking government, because it's not a substantial amount of money. We spend far more on the military and then corporate fucking subsidies. That's the bulk of everything.
And we spend so much on military that then like an actual terrorist organization will pop up. And guess what? We fucking piddle paddle with them, have a bunch of our brothers and sisters die in the system. The shit just not get resolved because they don't want to spend too much money on that. So the whole thing is fucked. Yes, 99% of your fucking taxes go to military and company subsidies. So I don't know. Look, I'm done with this episode.
Yeah, me too.
Fucking, we'll see you next time.
Later.
I love you, and I hope one day we can all love each other in the gayest, straightest, most blackest, whitest Mexican way, and we can all come together under that one banner of American, under that bigger banner of human.
So when are we having
enough is enough?
When are we having the mega church start?
Look, the reach around at Denny's is now a coup d'etat at Denny's. All right, so I'll see you guys next time.
Later.